Secret Invasion 2023 was marketed as one of the most important MCU projects after Endgame, and ended up becoming its biggest failure. With Nick Fury at the center of the story and one of the most iconic comic book arcs as its foundation, the series promised paranoia, betrayals, and global consequences. None of that actually happened. From the very first episodes, the plot drags through empty dialogue and weightless decisions. Important characters are wasted, while the Skrull threat never feels real. The constant feeling is that nothing is truly at stake. The villain Gravik starts with a solid concept, but quickly becomes generic and poorly developed. His actions have no real impact and fail to create tension. For a story about a worldwide invasion that's inexcusable, the final episode sums up all the show's problems: rushed, convenient, and lacking courage. Complex conflicts are resolved in minutes, absurd powers appear out of nowhere, and vanish without explanation. In the end, Secret Invasion's greatest sin is simple and severe. It changes nothing in the MCU. It leaves no mark, creates no consequences, and doesn't justify its own existence, becoming the perfect symbol of Marvel's creative crisis after Avengers Endgame. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law 2022, a series that divided audiences and weakened the MCU. She-Hulk arrived with a different proposal: legal comedy, metatextual humor, and constant fourth wall breaks. On paper, the idea was bold. In practice, it ended up pushing away a large portion of the audience. Humor that didn't work for many fans. The series leaned heavily into comedy, but the humor felt forced and inconsistent to many viewers. Long jokes, awkward timing, and situations that undercut tension made many episodes feel like disconnected skits rather than parts of a larger narrative. Fourth wall breaks with little real impact. By speaking directly to the audience, She-Hulk aims to be irreverent and modern. The problem is that this device is rarely used to deepen the character or the story. Instead, many breaks seem to exist only to mock criticism or specific situations, which led to rejection from part of the audience. Inconsistent writing and lack of clear direction. The show never fully decides whether it wants to be a legal procedural, a social comedy, or an important piece of the MCU. As a result, the main plot barely moves forward. Conflicts appear and disappear without consequence, and the protagonist's development remains shallow. Little relevance to the Marvel Universe. Even with familiar characters like Hulk, Daredevil, and Abomination, She-Hulk leaves almost no impact on the MCU. The cameos feel disconnected, aimed more at fan service than at building something meaningful within the larger universe. She-Hulk was not a total failure, but it symbolizes a recurring post-Endgame problem. Experiments that lack balance between creativity and storytelling. A series that tried to be different, yet ended up being remembered more for controversy than for its importance within the Marvel Universe. Ms. Marvel 2022. Charisma wasn't enough to save the series. Ms. Marvel premiered with a young, lighthearted approach that differed from the MCU's traditional tone. The lead actress, Iman Vellani, was widely praised for her charisma and faithfulness to the essence of Kamala Khan. Even so, that wasn't enough to turn the series into a success. Low viewership and limited reach. Despite an initially positive critical reception, the series posted viewership numbers below expectations. Outside of the most engaged fan circles, Ms. Marvel largely went unnoticed, showing its difficulty in attracting the general audience. Major changes to the character's origin. One of the biggest points of rejection was the alteration of Kamala's powers and origin. In the comics, her identity is strongly tied to the Inhumans. In the series, that foundation was replaced with mystical elements and later mutant connections, a change that pushed away longtime fans and created narrative confusion. A childish tone that limited its appeal. The colorful visual style, focus on teenage dilemmas, and constant humor appealed to part of the younger audience, but alienated viewers who were looking for a story with more weight and real consequences within the MCU. Uneven writing and weak villains. The plot starts off promising, but quickly loses momentum. The antagonists are poorly developed, shift direction halfway through the story, and never feel like a real threat, reducing tension and emotional engagement. Little relevance to the MCU. Despite introducing concepts that could matter in the future, the series feels isolated. Its connections to the larger universe are minimal, reinforcing the idea that watching Ms. Marvel made little difference overall. Ms. Marvel showed potential and introduced a charismatic protagonist, but failed to balance comic accuracy, broad appeal, and meaningful impact on the MCU. The result was a likable yet forgettable series. Another example of Marvel's struggles in the post-Endgame era. Echo 2024, a series released to be forgotten. Echo arrived on Disney Plus almost in silence. With little promotion, low expectations, and a clear sense that Marvel itself lacked confidence in the project, the series came and went without leaving a mark. Even with ties to popular characters like Daredevil and Kingpin, it failed to stand out. Lack of identity and urgency. From the start, Echo seems unsure of what it wants to be. It wavers between crime drama, origin story, and an attempt at universe expansion, without fully committing to any of them. The slow pacing and lack of tension weaken the narrative. Underused connections. The presence of Wilson Fisk and the promise of a stronger link to the MCU's street-level corner raised expectations that were never fulfilled. The connections are there, but they're superficial, serving more as bait than as an essential part of the story. An underdeveloped protagonist, Maya Lopez, has potential, but the series fails to fully explore her internal conflicts. Her emotional arc feels rushed, and many of her decisions lack the weight needed to create empathy or real impact. A story without consequences. Like many post-Endgame productions, Echo suffers from a lack of relevance. The events of the series don't change the status quo, don't set up clear follow-ups, and don't meaningfully influence the future of the MCU. Odd release strategy and lukewarm reception. The decision to release all episodes at once failed to generate sustained engagement or prolonged discussion. The series was quickly consumed and forgotten just as fast. Echo symbolizes a growing Marvel problem. Projects that exist but don't matter. Even with strong characters around it, the series failed to justify its own existence, becoming yet another irrelevant chapter in the post-Endgame MCU. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, 2021. A wasted opportunity for Captain America's legacy, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier carried a huge responsibility, showing the direct consequences of Avengers, Endgame, and defining who would truly become the new Captain America. The series had strong moments, but ultimately fell well short of what it promised. A strong idea, poorly executed Sam Wilson's internal conflict over taking up Captain America's shield is one of the show's most compelling elements. The problem is that this powerful theme gets diluted by confusing subplots, uneven episodes, and rushed narrative decisions. Weak and underdeveloped villains. The Flag Smashers begin with a relevant motivation, but quickly lose momentum. Carly Morgenthau never establishes herself as a real threat, and her actions fail to generate the emotional impact needed to sustain the central conflict. Inconsistent pacing. The series alternates between solid action sequences and character development and slow, uninspired episodes. The constant feeling is that the story moves in fits and starts without clear progression. Poorly balanced political messaging. The social and political commentary is important, but it's delivered too bluntly, leaving little room for nuance. Rather than integrating these themes organically into the narrative, the series often relies on explanatory monologues, which divided audiences. Bucky is underused. Despite being in the title, the Winter Soldier has limited real impact on the plot. His redemption arc is interesting, but receives less focus than it deserves, leaving a sense of wasted potential. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't a bad series, but it is a frustrating one. With strong characters and a powerful central theme, it should have been a defining post-Endgame entry. Instead, it became an uneven project that failed to fully honor Captain America's legacy.